Your mom presents.
So, speaking of Lake Michigan.
I
don't know a whole lot about the Great Lakes. And
that makes a pair of us, friend.
Pull that mic forward just a little bit.
We're way back here. We're way over there.
Yeah, it was
Want to hang out?
I think I need to get better about speaking more into my microphone because the last recordings were like not as rich and creamy in the voice.
Creamy.
So I'm sure this is the music segment.
Goofing around and talking about stuff. It's the Rob and Derek Show. We're messing around and talking about things. It's the Rob and Derek Show. It could be music, it could be books, it could be musicians in a local scene. It could be food, it could be wood, it could be other things. It's the Rob and Derek Show. It's the Rob and Derek Show. It's the Rob and Derek Show. Yeah.
Of our show that I'm gonna hand mainly over to you. So to maybe spark this, and maybe this is the wrong tree to be barking up, but
one time when I was in college, I saw a tree in Indiana that had been planted by the Dalai Lama and Muhammad Ali.
Are there any artists that you know of that you could speak about that lived right around Lake Michigan? Or the Great Lakes in general? I'm sure there are. Actually, I could think of a couple around the Great Lakes. But let's just say Lake Michigan.
Well, growing up in Indiana, being right under Lake Michigan for 24 years, I never went there one time and don't know shit about it. So, Michigan is a state, and
It is.
Grand Funk Railroad is from Michigan.
Oh.
And they named themselves after the Grand Trunk Railroad, which is a prominent railroad line there. And when they were at the height of their fame, selling out things like the Beatles and Led Zeppelin were, people forget how famous Grand Funk really was because they haven't had the staying power on classic rock radio, but they were fucking huge. Someone spray painted Grand Funk Railroad over the big Grand Trunk Railroad sign. And they had one of the first ever huge giant billboards of 3 20-year-old dudes' faces, like ever in music history. They were the first after the Beatles to sell out, what is it, the one in New York that everybody talks about? Like if you have a show there, you're famous?
Carnegie?
I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, Grand Funk Railroad, I think, basically did the young, white, late 60s, 70s musician thing of what English people were doing with the blues. They're like, the blues, that American thing? What if we electrified it? We're cream. And Grand Funk, they were like, what if we electrified R&B? 'Cause they didn't grow up on Crossroads Guy, Robert Johnson, and Lead Belly, which is more folk than blues. People, put them together, but Lead Belly does, Black Betty, Ram Jam. The British electrified and rocked up folk and blues, and Grand Funk electrified and rocked up R&B, Motown, and made it their thing.
Previously on the Rob and Derek Show.
Well, that was rad. Well, I like the whole idea of the electrified R&B. Here,
when you listen to Grand Funk, I guess you can hear it. More like they're just a really raw 3-piece with big bass, which was unusual. I mean, Cream is a very raw, honest 3-piece, right? The way that stuff was recorded.
Yeah.
And the bass and the guitar are very different most of the time. Everybody has their own roles. And that's awesome. That's 3-piece maximum. All 3 people playing different things that go together. Everybody playing hard. Everybody works harder. Everybody wins more. But Grand Funk Like, you listen to those records and they're like, the bass is like this, which is crazy for 1969, I think. And also, the drums are like this in this corner, but they could only do so much back then. But I think it's the vocals. It's basically Mark Farner's white guy funk a lot of times is what drives you away from it later and draws you in at first. Because, like, everybody in that band is just playing their ass off. They're all 20 and like, you're rock stars now. Put out 2 albums this year. And they had the raw talent, the raw oomph, you know?
Yeah.
But they had their own thing going on. Mark Farner is a banshee, and Don Brewer on the drums, this hairy white dude with a huge afro. Like, when he sings, he just screams. Ah! You know, he means it. And Mel Shocker just has a big fuzzy bass tone. And when they had Craig Frost later on the organ, it worked out great.
Grand Funk, of course, are from Flint, Michigan, known for its sparkling clear drinking water. And
You've been listening to the Rob and Derek Show.
Rob and Derek Show is fucking intense. Rob and Derek Show.